Hey there, Everbest friends. My name is Mikael, Jasin. I'm representing Common Grounds, St. Ali Jakarta family, and also So Good Coffee Company. So good to be featured here today with Everbest. This brand has been one of my favorites throughout the years, and also because of its comfort and also how it's very fashionable. Come follow me, and I'll show you my world. Good question. Probably they don't know that I'm actually a very personal and introverted person. People see me as this public personality that goes out and talk to people every day, but I'm actually someone who's very private, and I like to spend a lot of time together. Well, not together, by myself. Definitely happy after I've achieved it. Before I achieve it, we worked very hard to be in that position. Not just me, but my team as well. So it's a team achievement, and obviously this year we are going to try to improve that standing. So we are still working hard. We're not comfortable. We're not satisfied yet. So hopefully we can improve that standing. It started as a necessity. It was just work for me in the beginning, but eventually as I progressed in the industry, I figured out that it's actually my passion. And that's what keeps me working in the coffee industry. I like to make coffee for people. I like how coffee touches everyone's life, you know, from customers all the way to farmers, and it means a lot to me. I started coffee because I had to work, you know, it was a job. But as my career progresses and I finish uni, I realized that coffee is actually something that I really believe in. It's my passion. I cannot see myself doing otherwise. And I always say that coffee is an agent of change, meaning that it changes people's life no matter where it touches. So, you know, you can be a consumer and then you go from being sleepy and then being energized after you have a cup of coffee. But also a more profound level is people who make coffee their living, you know, farmers, baristas, coffee professionals. It really changed their life. It changed my life, and I believe it changes other people's life as well. My first professional experience. I was in Melbourne. I didn't start as a barista, I started as a dishwasher, as a lot of baristas were. And then eventually I worked my way up, and they taught me how to make coffee, and then I became a head barista, and then now I have a more behind the scenes sort of role. Again, there's no one single person, but in the beginning of my career, I remember 2013, I was still in Melbourne. There was a World Barista Championship in Melbourne. I couldn't go because all the senior baristas wanted to go, so I had to be at the shop, you know, pull in a shift. But I watched them live on live stream on YouTube, and every single one of them in the final really inspired me because that's who I aspired to be. And now that I finally get to live that, it's very humbling. Crazy. Depending on what I feel that day, so say I really like natural coffee, so I like fruity kind of coffee. But there are times where I just want a clean, elegant cup of coffee, and I'll go for a wash processed coffee. So it really depends on what I feel that day. I would say that I've tried coffee from a lot of places, maybe not from every single origin in the world, but yeah, I tried quite a bit. Love is a strong word, but I understand the importance of it. I always say, like, a part of good manner is dressing up well. So I always try to dress up and have a good sense of fashion as a part of respecting the people that I see that day. A personal style is most of the time because I work in and out of coffee shops, especially if I go to Origin. It has to be wearable, comfortable, but also in the same way still presentable. So it's a combination of, I would say, casual, athleisure, and a little bit of smart casual if I have to go on a night event. Most important thing I would say is taking a good care of it, and that's what's good thing about Everbest, because they have this line of shoe care that helps me stay or keep my shoes clean. I abuse my shoes. I really abuse them, and having a good shoe care actually helps me stay presentable, even though I have to go in and out of my coffee shops and go to farms and all that. Barista is a very customer-oriented role. So you have to talk to customers every day, 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's almost like a salesperson kind of job. So the way you present yourself, the way you groom yourself, the way you know what you wear, that kind of stuff really matters, because at the end of the day, people judge you by what they see before they talk to you. So it's still very important for grooming and, you know, a sense of fashion. I describe myself as someone who's I have polar opposites. I can be very dedicated and committed into my goal, but I can be very relaxed and flexible on how to get there, if that makes sense. So if I know I want to do something, I work hard towards it, but on my way there, I can, you know, be quite flexible. I like to write down my goal. I like to rehearse it every day. Say if I have a goal of winning a championship, I will say that to myself every day in front of a mirror. I will visualize and all that. So they really drive me towards my goal, and also it helps me to be disciplined in reaching what I want to do. Basically it. Motivation is not always going to be there, but your discipline and your dedication will always be there if you work towards the right goal. I don't know. I can sleep on cue, so I never had any trouble sleeping. I can just sleep, like, you know, as soon as I say good night, that's it. 5 seconds, I'm gone. I'm out. Being in coffee definitely been life-changing for me. There's no one single instance where my life changed out of a sudden, but seeing people at Origin, seeing farmers at Origin, that really changed the way I see things and my perspective. You know, we're so lucky to be in a city where things are very easily accessible. We can buy things, we can easily get things, whereas at Origin, it's very hard for farmers to get resources. And also working in the coffee industry, meeting a lot of different people, I get inspired by a lot of my colleagues and also competitors. Just by seeing their discipline and their commitment to coffee and their passion is really life-changing as a whole. My dream. I am currently living my dream, so it's it's hard to imagine myself doing other things, but if we can somehow combine what I do and living in Melbourne and not have to live in Indonesia, that would be great. It's normally the shoes. It's funny, right? Because obviously, like, when you talk to somebody, you look into their eyes, but noticing what they wear, normally shoes tell a lot about a person, because then a lot of the times it's actually the last thing that people see, because it's right at the bottom. But I like to see the shoes, because then if they take a good care of their shoes, that means the other aspects of their life they take good care of. Drinking coffee somewhere. But yeah, definitely still in the coffee industry. Melbourne was great. As I said, I love the city, better than Jakarta, honestly. But being in Indonesia or Jakarta brought me closer to my work and my passion. So I'm very thankful of being able to live in Jakarta and being only 2 hours flight away from a coffee farm, or an hour flight away from meeting people who do a lot of things in the coffee industry. So that's why I moved back. And also, I was born here, so it's basically my home. It's basically my home. So it's something that I feel very close to in my heart, and I wouldn't do it any other way. I am afraid of not doing the best that I can. I always try to work hard and put in my best effort, but it's hard to do that, right, every day. So, and there's always excuses here, excuses there, so I'm afraid of giving in into those excuses and not giving it my best. What makes me feel confident is the amount of work that I've put in. So the same thing that makes me afraid is the same thing that makes me confident, if that makes sense. Because I know I work hard. I know I try to anyway, to work harder than everybody else in this industry. So I know sometimes that's good enough, but I'm also afraid at the same time that it's not good enough. I get inspired by the people that I meet in my line of work every day. So there's no one single person, but I go to a coffee farm, I get inspired by the work that the farmers put in. I go to a coffee shop and I get inspired by my colleagues who put in the hours, stand behind a bar for 8 hours a day and try to serve their customers better. I get inspired by my customers who sometimes go out of their way just to go to our coffee shop and buy our coffee. Oh yeah, all the time. in a bigger scale, I experience setbacks. Say, if I don't win a championship, or if we don't hit our sales target in the coffee shops. But in a smaller scale, I experience setbacks every day, and I think that's good. It humbles you. It keeps you grounded. Say if I go into competition training, and my goal is to have 20 cups of coffee that tastes this good. But I can only make 15 cups of coffee that tastes that good that day. Those little failures actually prepare me for either bigger failures or bigger success, because as I said, it humbles you. I always say a good barista is not a person who can make the best cup of coffee, but a person who actually has the best customer service, because coffee is all about connection and it's about the people who drink your coffee. So if you don't have good customer service, then there's no point of being a barista. No. I like to achieve things. I wouldn't call myself a high achiever because I feel like I'm capable of so much more. I'm working hard towards it. I can work harder, I know that. I can work better, I can work smarter, I can work more efficient. So, no, not a high achiever, just an achiever. Currently, we just won the Indonesian Barista Championship again. So our most immediate goal is to represent Indonesia in the world stage in May. So that's in 2.5 months. We are definitely working towards improving our last standing, as I said earlier, and working hard towards it. So hopefully we can represent Indonesia better, not as common grounds, not as Saint Ali, but as a country representing in the world. One market size, we have 250 million people, and most of them drink coffee, I believe. And just like China, the States, countries with size, things move a lot quicker here. So you go and create one product, you can scale it up easily because you have the market size. And it's also still growing compared to, say, a more mature market like North America or Australia. Indonesia is still growing rapidly. A lot of tips. One of them being, do not ever stop learning and wanting to learn, because coffee is an ever-growing subject. Once you stop learning, your knowledge will get outdated very quickly and you wouldn't be able to survive in this industry. Alright, Everbest friends, that is all for today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope to see you in one of the stores soon.